Hey folks, welcome back. Today we're doing something different. We're going to do a kind of a tactics talk on Nitedog's replay in his Type 64. He is mid-tier here, but he's top tier for the lights. And so, well, no, he's not. There's a wheeled vehicle, the EBR Hotch. So the first thing I want to talk about, and take this with a grain of salt, Nitedog, I'm not the perfect light tank player, but I'm trying to help, and I want to show you what I would do in that situation, and I feel like there's some changes that could be made. And the first thing is with your setup. You've got binos and a camo net on your tank, and when we get started, you'll see that Nitedog has, probably 430 meters of view range, and that's without coated optics on his tank. So I think if I was you, I would just go with the coated optics, choose a gun rammer instead to optimize your DPM, and then that way you can get rid of the binos and the camo net, and I think it would be a more efficient setup. So the next thing to look at is the team list, and you've both got a top tier wheeled vehicle. So those wheeled vehicles are going to get to probably the J9 area basically at the same time. The good news is that your tank is fast. It is not fast off the start, but it is fast, and it's also got very good camo. So I think I would take it up to J9 and support my EBR. And the reason is because if you can win that position, then it forces people off of the K7 spot, and it gives you that side of the map. That is not what Nitedog does, and we'll talk about what he does and what he does well and what I think he could work on here. Let's go ahead and get it started. So he decides to go towards the heavy side. Not a terrible play. I would personally, if I was going to go to this side, especially with his camos net and binos, I would definitely go into the G6 area down the hillside and just set up my binos and passive spot, and because his tank's set up to do that, right? And he will outspot anybody by a mile. So and that's important, because if guys start poking down that hill trying to get shots across the valley, then you're going to be able to spot them. So it works out pretty well for Nitedog where he goes, and that's okay. I think he's got a little ADHD here. The turning left and right and all that stuff. Just drive in a straight line. When you decide you're going to go somewhere, just drive there. So right now, let's pause the video. He's got an IS, which is the top tier, and a KV2 hanging out over in G4, which is a terrible location for a top tier heavy and for a KV2, which tells me that they're probably going to lose the heavy side. Your team should win the heavy side, which is really good. But you've got a Leopard in the town, and the Leopard is one of the tanks you want to avoid. You don't want to avoid him, you want to keep him at range. Because if you can keep a Leopard at range, you can use your DPM, and 3 shots, he's dead, right? But if he gets close, he can do like 350 damage to you all at once if he's got that little autoloader. They also have a Crusader over here and an OI, OI Experimental, which normally you wouldn't want to face. But anyway, let's continue the replay. In this case, he's got a stock gun. So I want to show you something here, okay? Let me see here. If we zoom out, you have got, well, let's continue on, but you have got a shot on this KV2, and right there, okay? You've also got a shot on, and you're taking shots on the IS. Now, the thing is, with all these fences, I like to leave play in third-person view in the town, because you'll have shots on stuff that you don't know you have shots on. It would have been nice to put some shots into that KV2. Let's continue on. So now we're back in first-person view. So that's a tip for you as far as playing in the town or any town that has. That was a nice shot. Any town that has a fair amount of cover, fences, and destructible cover, it will help you to stay in third person. I think I would have continued to track that T-34-85 if it was me, because he was in the wide open and he had nowhere close for cover, so you could have sat there and punched his ticket. Another thing to note here is this ELC is behind cover, and that might be a map knowledge thing or it might not, but that guy is not going to poke out, right? There's absolutely no way he's going to poke out. So I think it's a waste of time to even aim at him, because the other guys are on the other side of the map are having shots on him. He might back out, but chances are pretty small. One thing that Nitedog notices pretty early is this leopard, okay? That's good map awareness to realize that there's a guy behind you. Luckily, that guy ignored you. So he's playing safe behind this building. That's a smart play, just because if you're spotted, already wrecks these things. And now he's getting free shots on this IS. And I think if I was to say anything here, I like to stay behind these bushes, okay? So if you can keep the bush between you and him, that's going to help you with your camo. But nevertheless, he ignores you and you're able to farm some damage, which is great. The only thing you have to worry about is because you are a light tank, someone is likely to YOLO you through the city where you can't see them until they're right next to you. And you are still lit there, so poking that KV-2 is kind of a dangerous thing. So I think here I would have dove down below this ridge, and the reason is if you're below the ridge, nothing's going to spot you that's up on this ridge along here. And then you can come up in the bushes and be basically unspottable. Like that KV-2 would probably be like 100 meters away and he would not spot you. So you do end up going down kind of the circuitous route. But as you do, you're getting closer and closer to that KV-2, and that guy can end your game in one shot. All it takes is a lucky snapshot. So now that you see that he's not looking, that's who I would be focusing on, is that KV-2. Because those other guys aren't even paying attention to you. And one thing that you'll learn over time is that when you don't shoot at somebody, but they have shots on you, most people are not even going to shoot back. So again, third person here would be good because you'd be able to see. Fortunately, this is a big enough target, it doesn't matter. I think I would have taken another blind shot there just because. So it turns out you didn't take a lot of damage there, or shouldn't have taken a lot of damage there, but that's just a little bit of panic there at getting shot at. So overall, you're doing fairly well. You're really good with your map awareness of where you can get shots. It's just shot selection sometimes is a little bit. It's not what I would choose, I guess. So the VK2801, I would have dove down the hill there and stayed away from him because you're a two-shot for him, and I don't think it's wise to engage a guy when you are a two-shot and he's probably a three-shot for you. At this point, it's okay to engage him, however he dies. But I would have made sure that I was not the target, and that's a lot of this game, is learning to not be the target. And you've done a pretty good job of that during this game. You did. You were able to poke out and hit guys that weren't looking at you. That IS for sure. So I think just. It's the little things, it's position, and I think you would have gotten a lot more success had you gone over to the knoll at like J0 and fought that out and won that side, and then you have a chance. Then I usually just cross from here. Once this is cleared out, I come down through here and get up underneath these guys, and anybody that is over here sniping, I just spot them for my team, because I'll have a row of guys that are already up here able to shoot these guys here and back them off. And as you back them off, then you take control of this town area, and after you take control of the town area, then you can win the heavy side last. So that's kind of how I do things. And if you lose the heavy side, it's not that big a deal, because you're up underneath them with this row of snipers behind you, and that seems to really work well. So you can get a ton of spotting. I've got games where I had like 5,000 spotting just from poking up here in bushes, and then these guys get lit, and they just get lit up by all my snipers on the back row here. So that is my analysis of your replay. I hope I wasn't too harsh. If you have questions about it, let me know. And feel free to send in your replay if you'd like me to analyze it and give you some feedback on it. Make sure to have a little bit of a thick skin, because I will explain how I would do it and why I would do it. But overall, good job. You won the game, and let's go take a look at his after action report on this one. Okay, here is the after action report. Third class, he earned 37,000 credits. He got 2,729 experience, and he was kind of middle of the pack, and looks like the Hotchkiss ended up, see, that Hotchkiss did go over to that null, and he ended up with 1,700 damage, and looks like probably a little bit of spotting, not that much. You earned 31,000 credits. Now keep in mind, he was running a consumable, so he would have for sure had another 10,000 credits he would have lost there, but anyway, he had 779 damage, 867 to his assistance. So that's not a bad game mid-tier, but I bet you can do better. I really do. 16 shots fired, 11 hits, and 7 pins, and so I think you're just being a little too erratic if you're more deliberate with your aim and who you're aiming at. Instead of, when you know a guy's out in the open, you're not spotted, just track that guy and just punish him. So like that T-34-85, you could have had at least one more shot into him, maybe two, and you might have finished him off for a kill there. So anyway, great job. Like I said, 2,700 total experience. Good job on the game, and keep trying to improve. We'll keep working on it. We'll definitely platoon. I've been platooning with some other people to try and teach them how to play light tanks. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Please give it a like if you did, and we will catch you on the next one.